name is Madison Viger and I am in the 6th grade. To honor the brave men and women who have served or are currently serving in the U.S. military, I have decided to share with you words from my great-grandfather's journal that he kept while serving in the Pacific during World War II. The journal starts on May 19, 1944 and ends on May 28, 1945. While you are listening, take a moment to think about the fact that he was only 17 at his time of service, the same age as some of our seniors. Now I will begin quoting. November 5th, 1944, land sighted, started through Panama Canal. December 25th, 1944, Christmas Day, tied to a buoy at Pearl Harbor.
Everyone, my name is Emma Nolan.
And I'm Hannah Richmond, and we're both sophomores.
Recently, Humans of New York did a series on American veterans from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan titled Invisible Wounds. There are 14 stories in total, each one unique and moving. We are up here today to read you one of these stories.
I don't think it's possible to be a medic in a conflict zone and not have something stay with you. Something that you didn't have before you went. I have the hardest time forgetting this little girl. She was brought to our post one day. 2 men ran toward us carrying a bundle of blankets, and they're all yelling and past you. And at first, all I can see are these bloody blankets, but then I peel them back, and there's this little girl inside.
February 9th, 1945, Conference for Invasion of Iwo Jima. February 16th, 1945, 30 miles from Iwo Jima, battleships and cruisers commenced. Bombardment of Iwo Jima at 4 different points of the island. February 17th, 1945, demolition squads go on to beach. LCIs go in with rockets. Heavy casualties of LCIs. Some were brought on board the USS Otis at night. 18 men were buried at sea.
She stepped on a landmine while playing soccer, and she's gone below the knee, gone below the elbow, gone below the hand. And everything is seething, and I can smell the flesh, and she's screaming. But I'm trained to drown it out. I'm trained so well that I almost don't hear the screaming. I focus on our interventions. Stop the bleeding, apply the Turconets, administer the IV. I overdosed her on morphine. I'll never forget that. I just kept pushing until the screaming stopped. And then a helicopter came and got her, and she lived. And I was fine throughout the whole thing. I was just like a robot. I'd been trained for chaotic situations. But they don't train you for the aftermath. They don't train you for when the helicopter has lifted off, and suddenly everything is quiet.
February 18th, 1945, bombardment continues, firing very close to ship. Many close calls. I'm very close to the beach. At night, retreated to sea. Japanese air raid at sea. 2 APP sunk. Many more lost and wounded. B-24s hit Iwo Jima. February 19th, 1945, first wave of Marines hit beach. Casualties heavy. At night, retreated. Japanese air raid, 4 suicide bombers hit Saratoga, sunk Bismarck at sea.
In Afghanistan, I spent so much time imagining what it would be like when I came home. I built up this perfect world. I imagined eating a big cheeseburger and taking the longest shower and meeting up with all of my friends. Maybe we'd even take a trip to the beach just to catch up. And everything would be just like when I left. And people would be so happy to see me because they'd be thankful for the sacrifices that I made. But when my plane landed, nobody was there to meet me. My mom couldn't afford to take off work. My father had died while I was gone. The rest of my family couldn't afford to travel.
Our planes bombing beach. Watched several of our planes shot down. February 21st, 1945. 1/3 of the beach was captured. Still bombing going on. February 22nd, 1945, U.S. flag flies on top of volcano. February 24th, 1945, watched one of our planes shot down in flames.
So one of the first things I did was visit the 2 friends who had written me letters. The whole time I was in Afghanistan, I only got 4 letters from 2 friends. So I had to tell them right away that those letters meant the world to me. But after those visits, I was pretty much by myself. So I sat in my room and I started thinking. I'd been so busy in Afghanistan, there was always a job to do. But now it was quiet. So I thought about all the things that I had kept at bay. I thought about the little girl that I'd saved and what her life is like now. And I wondered if she's still alive. And if she is still alive, does she even want to be?
As well as the journal, my family also has his dog tags, pictures, and medals from his time serving. This is just one incredible story out of millions, and I'm happy to have had shared it with you. Seniors, just remember, this man was just as old as you are now.
We chose to read the story because it illustrates an experience in Afghanistan, as well as this veteran's transition home. The experiences this veteran went through do not stay in Afghanistan. Veterans often carry their memories for their entire lives, even at home in the U.S.
As it is Veterans Day, it is important to recognize that it is a struggle to transition home, which is something that many people don't realize. As you're going through your day, both today and Friday, please keep in mind what the veterans have given up for our country and how they still are, even though they are not on active duty.